Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. If for some of you this is going to be already 2013, you're probably going to view this video on YouTube, whatever, after the year is over. But what I'm going to do tonight is attempt to sort of go over all of the fundamentals of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Not really like character matchup sort of things or most efficient combos to do with what character specifically, but more so how to take advantage of the system itself in the most efficient ways possible that I know. So, also with the patch coming out, there's going to be some things, a lot of major changes, but the system itself, across the board, it's still the same. There's still a lot of things that need to be done that's not going to change. So, I guess I should first start off with the concept of launches. And a lot of times you see this thing where somebody jumps in and do like a jab and then go through like the other buttons and then do a really bad combo with their incoming partner. And see, I got 315 off of that.
Let's do this.
315. Now let's see how to improve that. If I know that's gonna hit 454. But now you have to look at why that's actually legit. I mean, first of all, you got damage mitigation, and that's what's causing it to do more damage because you're not hitting as many buttons. But you want to take it a step further, and let's say the opponent is blocking. Well, let's put on a random block. If I get a jump in, then I still have frame advantage if I hit that crouching strong. If I do jumping roundhouse, crouching strong, as opposed to like if I were to do this and they blocked it, I can be punished for the unsafe chain. And in the new version, if I do something like that and it's blocked, I can get punished really hard for that. So you want to launch. You want to be able to hit confirm your launches with the least amount of hits. And you can do this in many ways. Like say Sagat were to throw a fireball, I would know for sure that my jumping roundhouse is going to hit. So there's no reason for me to do any sort of buttons to mitigate the damage of my partner's character. And I should apologize. The game feed is going to lag behind my voice quite a bit, or just a little bit, whatever. But for example, let's say Sagat throws a fireball. Replay. So Sagat throws a fireball. I know it's going to hit, so I can go into a combo. 555, 1 meter. That's over half of Sagat's health. Now, opposed to if I were to do something like 323, not so good. So that's one important thing, one very important thing, and it's also important to note. In addition to launches, switching out your characters, they also crush low attacks. And this is especially good for my anchor character Jin, because his launcher hits twice. And I'll show you why this is good as well. I'll put the opponent on random, and they can just be crouching. So let's say I'm doing a block string, and I launch, because I think the other person is going to hit low jab or something. So I launch, and then I can hit confirm that launch. But if they block it, I can tag out because it hits twice. Why this is so good is because it gives me a launcher unmitigated. It's just a raw launcher. And it gives me a safety net too. So if this hits, I can get a pretty good combo. I may not want to tag Jin back in to say he has low health, which is something I'll go over in a few minutes. But let's say Jin's launcher hits. Tag him back in. 461. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for 2 bars, and considering what I did. But also, for example, let's say I just want to get Jin out. I just want to use my meter to get Jin out, and if it hits, so be it. If it's blocked, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So if I hit him with this launcher, then I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna do attack cancel anyways. But what it allows me to do is to put back the character who has more survivability, who has more life, who has more better tools for dealing with the opponent as far as zoning. He has a better fireball, etc. Ryan points out in the chat to try adding a standing fierce into. At the beginning of this video, I was demonstrating how performing the least amount of hits before going to launcher is most often the most effective way to do more damage. But there are exceptions to this rule, and it depends on your partner. It depends on how much damage your partner does when he comes in. Like say Dawson was my anchor character. Dawson doesn't do that much damage incoming. So if I do more damage with Sagat, then like I have variations on the jumping combo depending on what I choose to do with Jin. For example, if I want to end my combo, like let's say I'm playing against a character with a teleport, and I want to use Jin's option select on their wake up, and I have a specific combo I use for that. And basically, I just end with median line destruction. In that case, I would want to add a fierce punch. So let me take this off the block. I would want to add a standing fierce punch because that does more damage. Because Jin is only going to do standing fierce median line destruction. That's all I'm going to do for that combo. Because I get an option select off of this. Off of that jumping, I can option select super jump. And if they teleport, I can punish them for it. So that did 398. Now, if I were to do just jumping roundhouse launcher, I feel like he would do less.
Are you ready?
Less than 398. A little more. But I think it's because I added the crushing strong as well. But these are all like minor adjustments to make. And even though, like, you might say 7 points here, 12 points there, it's not that much, but these combos add up. If you maximize all of your combos, think about like that 30 you added here, the 40 you added here, the 12 you added here. That could be the difference between killing a character or you being on the ropes because the other character didn't die. You did a reversal DP, whatever. So far we went over launch combos, and I was going over the concept of Jin's launch combo, raw launcher. Not all launchers are the same. Some have more reach, some have unique attributes like Jin's hits twice, but it doesn't have that much range. I should also mention that. It only hits twice from point blank. So from this range, if I don't walk up, it's only gonna hit once, no matter what I do. So I have to be directly on top of him. So that's why I walk up first. Also, launching in combos, even though it may not do much damage, because if you launch them while they're already in a juggle state, you can't follow up. But it's often important just to get your other character in certain situations. Like say that character doesn't have much health, and you want to finish that combo on your partner. And I actually have I have a dirty combo I want to show you off, but this is more like a gems kind of thing, but it'll demonstrate what I'm talking about. Because there are gems that activate on launcher. Now let's see. I don't want full meter. I'm going to show you how much meter gain I get off of this. This is sort of an addition of no meter. So I think I need about no, I have way too much meter. Well, you'll still see the idea. No, I have 2 gems. I have 1 gem on Sagat that activates when he launches twice. I have 1 gem on Jin that activates when his partner launches twice. And they both give me 400 meter. Gradually give me 400 meter. So with like putting some combo theory together, I came up with a combo that gives me 2 launches from Sagat, and it only requires me to have about 3/4 of a meter to be able to do it. Right now I have more than that, but I'm just going to show you the idea. Like that's 1 launcher. I can tag Sagat back in. I can drop the combo, but I still got the 2 meters to activate from a launcher previously. And as you can see, my meter is going up without me doing anything. What's also good about this, and I'm starting to get into like the gem loadout thing, but Jin also has a meter that activates when Sagat launches one time, and it gives him like 60% acquisition rate for his meter gain, and that stacks with those 2 gems that I have. So if I do this combo correctly and all 3 meter gems activate, I get a surplus of meter. Like I can literally keep doing the combo and spend it, and I'll still have 3 meters. So I think right about here I have enough. And it keeps going up. And not to mention, me doing attacks makes it go up even faster. And this is good because this team does lots of damage, like stupid damage, and I'm burning the meter. 603, and even that last meter usage wasn't even that important. But I guess that can lead into the next subject, meter usage. And this is something I don't really have to demonstrate that much. It's more of me just like saying, like, you want to use your meter as, you want to treat it like it's a tool, it's utility. Like, if I don't have meter with Sagat and I DP somebody and it doesn't trade, all I get is that DP. But let's say I use my meter on like an EX Fireball. What do I get? I get maybe 100 damage, and that's not even considering why it's even hitting them in the first place. Maybe I'm in a fireball war with Guile, and I want to get some advantage, and I throw the EX Fireball out there. I get some zoning advantage, but imagine if I use that meter for a DP. If they jumped at me and I DP and I use that meter there. So let's do a little quick comparison. 100 damage for EX low tiger shot. But if I DP attack capture, I get a switch and I also get 427. So just that example alone should tell you, like, having a switch cancel allows your other partner to regain health, as opposed to just doing EX tiger shot. You don't get much off of that. So you have to be stingy and decisive with your meter at all times. And this is why I've switched over to this gem loadout, because meter is so meaningful in this game. Another example are supers. In one of my earlier lab notes videos, I mentioned how I sort of just, like, my lab notes videos are sort of like examples. They don't really explain too well, but it's sort of like me trying to get information out there as quickly as possible. But let's go ahead and look at the damage of just doing a super. No meters or anything, just raw super. And Sagat's super is 3-frame startup, and that sounds good, but 310. 310 for 2 meters, and Sagat stays in, which can be a plus, because your other character you might not want to put him in. But then again, if you have 2 meters, you can probably tag them out anyways. Or maybe they have recoverable health, you don't want to waste it. But what I'm trying to say is for 2 meters, you can do the same damage and do more. You can do more with your resources. Like, just DP tag cancel does more than 310, and that's 1 meter. And that's 1 more meter that you have to do like another DP tag cancel. So now on top of that, you get another 427 because you have that meter available. So, but that's not to discount supers. Supers can be, actually in cross assault, you should always try to end your cross assault with a super, because notice how the meter drains. If you use DX moves, it'll drain faster. So I just kind of mentioned that. It has nothing to do with super, but if it's at the end, you can still use the super. So no matter where this is at on the end of the meter, I can still do a super. Oh, I'm using gem. So even though I had that much left, I can still do the super. But you always want to hiccup from the situations. It can be difficult to identify what's going on in cross assault, but with practice and even with like a good partner, you'll be able to have your own setups. What else? Another thing I should talk about is, even though you get a hit, like for example, even if you get a hit using your meter with like Sagat, sometimes I'll throw out EX Tiger Knee, that's fine. 310, that's at 330, that's good. I can just leave it at that, because the incoming meter, the mitigation that it's at that point probably won't be, like, if it's at the beginning of the round, I can just let that rock, and just accept the positioning that I have. Because if I tag in Jin, how much more damage am I gonna get for spending the 2 meters? 330. Actually, that's not that bad. 519 minus 330 isn't that bad at all. So that's, I guess, a better example would be me continuing the combo after Jin putting Sagat back in. So if I were to do this combo, do a combo to put Sagat back in. Let's try again. If I were to do that combo and put Sagat back in, shit. I was watching the chat. Okay, so 519. That's less than 100 damage for that third meter, and at that point I have no more meters. I'm out of meters, so I'm out of utility. So the question is, was it worth getting that 100 extra damage to was it worth getting that 100 extra damage? Because it may be. Sometimes it is. If that's the killing combo, then it's absolutely worth it. And for example, let's say Jin is low on health. Putting Sagat in there wasn't about doing the damage at all. It was about putting the more survivability character in there. So that about covers it for meter usage, I think. There's all kinds of different situations. Like for example, me, I have gems that make my meter. Like if my gems are gradually restoring my meter, and I already have full meter, I can use my meter just sparingly. I can throw out EX Tiger E. I can charge up to a C80C so I can get, combos or whatever. My meter will still be charging up. Oh yeah, that's another good point. And I kind of implied this, but when you're stingy with your meter, it allows you to maintain the utility of other things, such as alpha counter. And this is important because, and I'm just going to show this for people who may be new. But alpha counter is important because for a lot of characters, you get a free raw tag off of it. So say your character is in trouble, low health, and needs to recover, you can alpha counter and then tag out, and then you can sort of reassess the situation. But some alpha counters, excuse me, some alpha counters don't have that luxury, like Sagat's. If I alpha counter with him in raw tag, it's not safe. I can be punished for that. So you have to know, you have to know your characters and how their alpha counters function. And in addition, as it is right now, you can alpha counter, attack cancel, and continue the combo, which is really that's really cheap. It's extremely cheap. But in 2013, that's gone. You can only alpha counter. I think you can probably still tag cancel, but you can't hit the incoming character. So for like Sagat, possibly it might be a good idea because his alpha counter isn't safe. But you have to question: is it worth using the 2 meters for something? You don't get more damage. You're getting 180 using 2 meters for 180, and the plus is you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're gonna hit them. So I don't know. I guess I wanted to cover health management, but that's so encompassed in everything, all the decisions and combos, and like their meter, everything you do has to you have to consider how much your other character has. Like one of the worst things you can do, one of the absolute worst things you can do to your team is, like when I first started this video, the ABC combos. The ABC combos that do no damage, one of the worst things you do is launch into your partner who is still recovering health or who is low on health. Because you probably, not only did you do bad damage, you did bad damage to your team and you put yourself in a worse position. Because now you have somebody who can potentially die off of one combo. Or just, oh, that's important. Now with oh yeah, cross arts. Cross arts is a good thing to talk about as well. Cross arts have their function. There's a couple good things about them. One of the worst things about them though is that they cost 3 meters. And as I mentioned before, meters are extremely important to have at all times. If you don't have any meter, like if somebody cross arts me at the beginning of the round and I have 3 meters, I feel good about that because with my 3 meters, I know I have so much comeback potential, and now they're starved basically. They don't have the resources to do nearly as much damage as me. What was I gonna do? So, cross arts are often invincible on startup. I don't know any that aren't. So let me just show you an example of what you can do with like Sagats. And this looks impressive. This looks impressive, but it's not always a good place to do it. And I have to be on point to do it. Well, anyways, you can car his cross assault. You can car it. Ugh. So if he were to throw a fireball here, it would hit his limbs. It's easier to just do it from here. I'm the worst. But what's good about cross assault or the cross arts is that it switches your character. It gives some characters that don't have an anti-air, like Jin. His anti-air is more you have to anticipate if they're gonna jump with mental awareness into his flying kick. But if you have a cross art available, you can do that easily. You can just do that on reaction if they jump. I'll show it to you. What am I doing? Turn replay off. That's what I'm doing. Oh! I'm so bad at menus. So if they were to jump at me, I guess I can do this. Legit. If they were to jump at me, instead of doing this, and if I didn't have that anticipated, if I saw it at the last minute, I can cross art him. And that'll get Jin out. And Sagat doesn't necessarily need meter to be a good character. Jin, it's very helpful because he doesn't have good ways to tag out outside of, you know, like medium line destruction and block attack cancel. But overall, cross arts have to be used very carefully because using that much meter often, Jesus, man. Oftentimes, using that much meter hurts your team more than it helps. But it all depends on the positioning, and like I mentioned earlier, my team can generate meters off of my gems, so I can do that sort of thing and get away with it. Oh, I don't think The other good thing about cross assault is that it evens out the life of both of your characters. So, say I need Sagat. Sagat is a good character for whatever matchup I'm playing. But Sagat is low on health. I can cross assault. Well, Sagat is low on health and Jin has all of his health. I can cross assault there. And that'll put both of our lives... It'll basically give health back to Sagat at a cost of Jin's. So that puts... that puts more survive... Like... Sagat can be on the screen and it's less risky because he has more health. And also, I can be doing damage in cross assault. That can make up for the situation that I'm in. And it gives me a good opportunity, especially if we're playing with 2v2. I can throw out a DP and my partner can block. If the other person tries to punish my DP, my partner can punish him for trying to punish my DP. Kind of like a Marvel, like trying to punish an assist, and it's the same concept. So, we went over how to effectively go into launches. Meter usage. With the alpha counters. Rolls. We should talk about rolls. We'll go with 4 roll. And this is especially important in the patch because rolls have received a pretty heavy nerf. In that, if you roll, you can block, but you cannot tech a throw. So, if Sagat rolls here, this throw in 2013 is free. Not only that, throws will it'll like all of your recoverable health, it'll get rid of all of it. So there's a couple situations I can think of off the top of my head where this would be really like, first of all, if my throw is gonna kill them and they roll, then I'm gonna throw 100% because it's a guaranteed kill. It's no matter what they do, they can't do anything about it. If they roll, but when they roll, they're done. If they roll and I'm near them to throw, they're dead. That's all there is to it. But there's also interesting sort of tactical decisions. Like maybe I'm feeling greedy and I still want to go for the mix-up because they have to block. they have to block. So they can't do a reversal. So I can do my mix-up here, and I can do more damage than I would have for the throw, which in turn could kill them. It's pretty good. I should also explain roles in general. How to approach, like right now, currently, I've been leaning heavily towards always chasing the roll and just pushing them to the corner. More and more so, I've been doing this. For example, with this setup, I have a safe jump. That's a safe jump. But the launch combo that I get from Sagat into Jin doesn't really give me much. Dropped it. And notice how 2 of my gems activate. Now notice that they're in the corner. I can just keep them there. That's fine. And if they don't roll, they're still in the corner, and that's completely fine. Positioning over mix-up in this game is it's still like I've been using it more often. See, I can just go back here and then just the roll being there is fine with me. I can play mix-up from there, and if they don't roll, cool. I'm fine with having this whole side of the screen that I can play around with. And if they jump at me still, I can DP them and do a corner combo. So I can maintain pressure. The other thing to consider is where their roll would cause their character to end up. So if I'm in this position and I do my opposite select with Jin, even if they block it, that's fine, because now they're positioned towards the corner, and that's fine with me. And this is especially important against characters that tend to run away. So if you position them in such a way that they don't have anywhere to run, even if your mix-up fails, you still have the position advantage. So you want to layer your offense in every way possible. Throw ranges. So this is something that's sort of like, I don't know why people don't talk about it, but it's really important. And this is across the board, it applies in any fighting game. And it's basically, how do I throw them? So, throws are currently 7 frames. And that sounds terrible. But if you know how to set up throws and why they work, it doesn't matter how fast or slow they are, unless they're obnoxiously slow and useless. But there's a couple reasons why throws work in this game, and some of them have nothing. Like a lot of them don't have anything to do with the startup at all. It's the throws simply beat other options. For example, if Jin were to do power stance, he can't break a throw. If Jin were to do mental awareness, you see him do often, he can't break a throw. So the throw speed is irrelevant. If you know he's going to do mental awareness on wake up, or if you have an option select, like I do with Jin, you can option select throw, and if he does mental awareness, you're going to hit him out of. You're going to throw him out of it for free. But aside from a throw flat out beating an option, you want to know how to just throw them so that they have to tech it on reaction. And of course, if they mash out a DP, you're going to lose the throw, or if they mash out a jab, in some cases, you can throw them out of their jab, and actually, pretty often you can. But what you want to do is find the situations where your character can throw them. Like for example, if I were to do standing jab with Sagat and throw them, I have a lot of ways to travel to throw them with my slow throw. Because if I just do it here, it's way too far. I have to walk up, and that's never going to work unless the other person is just completely MF'd. And even like low jab is Sagat's fastest normal at 3 frames, but it still doesn't leave me in range for a throw. And I still, with my slow walk speed, I can get away with this with Jin, but not Sagat, because I still have to walk up quite a ways to get to them. However, low short leaves me in range. I don't have to move at all. Low short gives me frame advantage, and it keeps me in throw range. So this is the kind of thing you have to find with your characters in order to implement throws properly. Otherwise, if you're trying to do like dash up throw, it's never going to work, because that's not how they're designed to be used. And again, layer your offense. With Sagat, I found that off of his back throw, I get a raw tag, or I get a. So in his dash up twice, I can't even dash twice. If I dash up twice and jump, that's a safe jump. If he were to backdash, it would have got a DP, or I can safe jump opposite select his toward roundhouse, and that gives me. I'll catch their backdash and I'll get a car tiger. And I'll address all the questions at the end of whenever I'm done, which should be pretty. I think I'm doing pretty good on time too. Anti-airs, Africans. I think I've pretty much covered a lot of stuff. Yeah. What was I just talking about? Oh, I should also. So with that, Sagat, with the opposite select I just showed you, off his back throw, if they don't forward roll, if I jump at them, I'll get opposite select there too. So I think there's a 1 frame difference between the time that they get up and the time that they get up if they were to roll. But you still get opposite selects for both, as far as I know. That about covers it. Oh, punishes. I should go over punishes too. So if the other person does like a chain, does any kind of chain combo, and now they're completely unsafe. From what I understand, chain combos on block are terrible now, which is a good thing. So if he does this, I don't know how to punish him again. Probably a sweep maybe. With Sagat, for sure, I can punish with like standing roundhouse. So no, even though it might be a slow normal. Whoa, really? No, I don't believe it. I know I can at least punish that with forward roundhouse. What is going on? That's why it's getting nerfed. But in the patch, that'll definitely be terrible, and I can punish that with stand roundhouse, launch, and get a full combo. We're not necessarily full, but I'll get a very unmitigated combo. I'm sure this punishes. I know it does. I'm just bad. Wow. Bad example. There we go. Standing short. It doesn't matter if he's crouching or not. He should be able to punish it. But anyways, I think that about covers it. As far as gem loadout, it's something like you have to do your research on it. It's not something you're going to develop overnight. You have to take your characters in consideration and everything that they're strong at. You want to accentuate. Like I feel Sagat is a good tank. He's a good solid character, but he doesn't do damage, and that's what Jin's for. So I set up the team. I used to have it set up so that Jin was all power gems, and Jin was responsible for all the damage. But then I feel like I get more out of not just doing damage, but having that meter for the utility, and I still do amazing damage by using that meter instead of just depending on Jin to generate all the damage with his power gems. But like I said, I got 2 gems. I actually have 4 meter gems. Okay, 2 of the gems activate. Jeez, Sagat, calm down. Stop trying to rush me down. 2 of the gems activate when I'm hitting them, and I get two launches from Sagat. The other 2 gems that activate on Sagat, right now I got the meter gem, or I got the defense gem that activates when I'm being hit, and it cuts 100 damage. So I feel like that's a pretty guaranteed gem that's going to activate. Before I had the life gem that activated at 50% health, because pretty much if I go past 50%, it's going to activate. There's no stipulation other than me getting beat up. So I mean, and I get 80 health for it. But I feel like it's an improvement to have 100 incurred damage, and I feel like this doesn't. Like the life gems, if you have recoverable health, they'll overlap it, so you can't recover that health anymore. But I feel like with the defense gems, you just won't get that recoverable health. Instead, you just not take the certain amount of damage. And I feel like that's better, I think, but I'm still testing that out. So the other meter gem I have on Sagat is the 50% vitality, and then I restore a certain amount of meter. And the theory behind this is, if Sagat is getting, if I'm losing with Sagat, he needs meter to DP tech cancel at the very least. If I'm not getting anything else, he needs to get out. And if I just get a DP, that's no bueno. I need to do a DP tech cancel so he can recover health and I can do some damage at the same time. So those are Sagat's gems. Jin's gems are also all of his gems are 100% based on Sagat. Sagat launching. So when I launch once, and let's say I don't have any meter. I don't have any meter to do the combo I was talking about. To take advantage of my launch gems. So if I have no meter, and I do get the launch with Sagat, and say I hit like a shoulder low forward with my standing forward, and I buffer into a launcher. Let's say I do that. That's fine. I still get a good combo, and I have a power and a meter gem activated. And the power is like 10%, and the other one's like 60%. The 60% acquisition meter gain, right? And the theory behind this, at first I had 2 power gems, but then I was like, if this were to happen early on the round, I don't think I can generate enough damage with Jin anyways. And if I do, that extra 10% is going to be irrelevant. So I think it's better to get the utility from the meter and do some damage. Because by the time, if I get that knockdown at that position, I'm going to have at least 1 meter. And then I can tag back into Sagat. And that in turn helps Jin if he gets hit to recover his health. And it just overall helps my team flow a lot better. Oh! Okay, DP tag cancels. And after this, after I go over, it's pretty brief. But after this, I'll take questions. So you can ask me whatever the fuck you want to ask me. So basically, tag canceling into DP on block is terrible now. Oops, what am I doing? Basically, if they block a DP, they have much less block stun. So if I DP tag cancel, my incoming character. Okay, once I DP tag, it's hard to explain. Since they have less block stun, they're able to move before my incoming character is able to. So they'll punish my incoming character. So what this means is DP tag cancel is only good if it hits them. Otherwise, you wasted 1 meter and you damage your partner for DP tag cancel. This is a pretty significant nerf. Currently right now, it's really good to DP tag cancel because this is frame advantage. Although I'm committed to attacking, and I can get launched for it, I can get DP'd for it. Like if somebody DP tag cancels me now, I'm going to DP their incoming character. But now I don't even have to do that. I can just hit them with like crouching strong and then launch them and save my meter and possibly do even more damage. So DP tag canceling in 2013, not that great unless you're a character like Ken, Akuma, because their dragon punches hit multiple times. So you can tag cancel off the first hit, and they're still going to be hitting them when the incoming character is tagging in. But that's still, there are drawbacks to their DPs because you have to be point blank for them to hit 3 times. If you're anywhere like in this range and you DP, it's only going to hit once, and it's going to be probably even worse than Sagat's or Ryu's DP. So yeah, I think that's it. DP tech cancel is not that great anymore. Are there any questions? Any questions from the chat? Any questions? Looks manita. I can actually do a 5-bar combo with this gem setup. Pandora is yet to be explored. Right now, Pandora has some use. You have to design a team for it, basically. You have to you have to like set it up perfectly. It's like giving a woman an orgasm. You know, you have to do all kinds of things. It's got to be like the 5th shade of the moon, and you gotta. But they did improve it. Like the it doesn't push you back as much, and I thought that was kind of unique that it did push back, because if the other person, like say I'm in this range, I get a knockdown, and Sagat can Pandora, I can stay close to them, especially in the corner. I can stay close to them, and if I react to them rolling, I can Pandora, and I'll end up where their roll will end up, with Pandora. But if they don't roll, I can maintain this position up close. So that was one of the unique things that they're taking away. But still, there's probably, though they're taking that away, they're giving it more things useful. You instantly get 3 meters, but it doesn't recharge. And with some of the Pandora meter gems, it's not that big of a deal, because you get like like with King, for example. Right now I have this Pandora set up where I can infinitely do EX Convict Kick, because I'm generating meter, and I'm also using the gem that makes it so EX moves take less meter. What else? I think that's it. What else we got? What am I going to be drinking tonight? I don't know. I might just fall asleep. I know that sounds lame, but I don't really feel like going out today. Do you think that this game will be taken seriously by the community after the patch? Depends on you all. It doesn't matter how good one player is, how bad somebody's playing the game. It depends on the people. You just gotta play it. I can show you the King setup. I'll show you the King setup while I answer more questions. What are the cheap characters in this game? Every character is cheap. Every character. The cheap character in this game is your mental faculties and what you do with them. You can make any team composition. I think it's not every, but you can get a lot of cheap teams from just using your brain power. You can make a lot of things work. But this team has the Pandora Extend Gem and 2 Pandora Gems for King. One is the 20% damage and the other one's the meter cost efficiency. So it goes up. See, I can keep doing this combo right here if I want it to regenerate. But this does less damage. And it's not really necessary for me to do that, because of how much damage it does by itself. So the theory with this Pandora setup is that King can kill somebody from like full life to a mix-up, and that's death. That'll kill him. So I either get that overhead, or I can go into low short, or if I think they're gonna DP, I can do his Jaguar step, which will make the DP whiff, and I can punish them on the way down and kill them. So I've been trying to work this Pandora, but it's not easy. The most difficult thing about Pandora currently is setting it up with the character. Like I had some creative ideas, but still, no matter what, it's just hard to set up. How do you go about setting up teams? Darwin asks. What should a player be looking for? At first, I subscribed to the philosophy that you should have a good character with like an anti-air, good ability to zone, and I still have that team, the team that has one character who's good at zoning and being solid, the other one who's good at doing damage. And I thought this was like the best way to play it, but not necessarily. You can have 2 turtle characters and put defense gems on your team, and you can play this game as lame as you want. You can play this game super like dirty offensive and put those like, let me show y'all. I can't really do EWGF consistently. But see, Kazuya doesn't really have a solid anti-air. He doesn't really do much, as far as I know. But his ground game, his damage is so high that if you get one hit, he's dead. So I have these gems with Kazuya that activate when he contacts with special moves. And as you all might be familiar with, if he does EWGF combo, that's like 3 or 4 special moves. So if I hit it twice, by itself it does enough damage. But when these gems activate, it's 20% more. Well, I can't do it on the fly. But that's one. That's one. And that's the other one. So now I do 50% more damage. So if I can actually do EWGF combos, let's just look at what this does. I can't even do the easy combos. But you'll do like 500 damage if you activate these gems. On top of what you've already done from activating them. Okay. And this is just a basic combo. That's not even the EWGF combo. It does 613. I can get a few of them out there. Whatever. I can do them. I'm better on the right side. There we go. Whatever. But you get the point. You can design teams to be effective in like almost any order. With the gem loadout, it's really important. But generally, it is better to have a more solid character on point and then put in the character who like when I first started playing this game, I played Julia Hugo because I identified that Hugo struggles getting in. But Julia has such good movement that she can do all the legwork. She can do the legwork for Hugo, literally. So I can play footsie with Julia and then get Hugo where I wanted him to be anyways, without having to, excuse me, without the hassle of having to be Hugo. What else we got? Is Heihachi still decent? Heihachi is ridiculous. Again, it boils down to how you set them up. Because this game, they're not standalone characters. It's how you get to that point where the character is really effective. Heihachi he's king of buttons. Even by himself as a point character, he's not terrible. Let's see what else we got. And I'll answer a few more questions and then I'm just gonna play. Is that it? It's about an hour long. I think that's good. Any more questions? If not, I'm going to play. Cool. Let's play some matches. I'm going to restart the stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to upload this to my YouTube channel and not watch it because I hate watching myself talk. Yes, I'll expose all kinds of people on ranked. Or expose myself because I have like a 50-some game win streak. Alright, I'm restarting.